Take a look at this PowerPoint presentation slide and this one, or this report and this one, or this and that. Can you tell the difference? Can you see how some of these are more visually appealing than the others? That is the power and impact of visual communication, and that's what today's video is all about. Hi everyone, my name is Meher Sindhu Batra and I'm back with another video. Today's video is part 4 of the communication series, where I'm going to talk to you all about how visual communication can play a big role in today's world. I have made a free worksheet for you to use, which you can download by just clicking on the link in the description box. Because of the amazing feedback that I have got on all my worksheets on the communication series, don't forget that I have an ebook coming up very shortly, which will be about all the aspects of communication, verbal, non-verbal, written as well as visual, all combined in one workbook that you can use to practice and improve your communication skills. I have filled it with practical examples that will be very handy for you. So don't forget to watch out for the information that I release on my upcoming ebook. So today's video is all about visual communication, and I'm going to talk to you about 3 things. The first is what is visual communication. The second is why is it important. And the third, some tips and tricks for you to improve your visual communication skills. So let's begin. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like and comment down below. Subscribing to my channel really helps me. So please press subscribe if you like what I do and are enjoying the videos that I'm making for you. In today's information era and fast-paced society, we are bombarded with so much information, and there is an information overload, and our time is limited. Visual communication helps us to communicate our ideas faster and better. So what exactly is visual communication? It is the transmission of information through symbols and imagery. It is believed to be a type of communication that people rely on the most, using things like graphs, charts and diagrams to visually represent what we're trying to say. Right from school, whenever we saw a page in a book which was full of pictures and graphs, it excited us. And especially if those pictures and graphs were colorful, and we really wanted to read those books that were more visually appealing to us. The things we learn in school are always carried on forward in our workplace, and one of those forms of visual communication at the workplace, whether you're self-employed working in a business or working for a corporation, is in the form of presentations. You will always need to have strong presentations to represent what you're trying to say to your stakeholders. And a slide that is more visually appealing will attract more attention and make you a trusted advisor for those stakeholders. There are so many benefits of having well represented, visually strong reports or presentations. They help you instantly and easily convey the message you're trying to convey. There is ease of understanding. It is easier for cross-cultural communication, and also it is pleasing to the eye and leads to a little bit of enjoyment. So if you start a presentation with a funny image related to your topic, you will instantly grab people's attention and they would want to sit and listen to the rest of your presentation or report. So now coming on to the importance of visual communication. First of all, just text or sound can be boring to listen to for a long period of time. Remember those long textbooks which just had no graphs or no pictures for you to read were always ones we did not want to pick up. And the same goes for listening to a lecture or listening to somebody speak for a long period of time without any visual aids. Our minds start to wander and lose interest. But if we had one strong image, we would instantly be able to resist our audience's minds from wandering here and there or thinking about other things. You don't want to be known as a boring presenter, right? Visual communication also comes in handy when you have a lot of numbers to represent. For example, look at this slide. This slide is all about numbers written down on one page. If I put in a graph to represent the numbers on the slide, just see how much easier it is to communicate what I'm trying to convey. It helps us to capture the ideas and the information very easily. Our brains are hardwired to process images fairly quickly. You know what they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. People may not remember the text you wrote down, but they'll always remember the images you had up on your screen. And because the human brain can only take in limited amount of information, visual communication makes it easy to comprehend, and it takes lesser time for the human brain to process the information than if it was just via sounds or text. So if you're presenting a report to your boss or giving recommendations to your client, if you put it on visually appealing slides, you will save your time and your viewers' time. It's a great way to work smarter but not harder. And yes, it does involve a little bit of creative thinking as well. You also have to keep in mind the audience that you're communicating to. For example, if you're communicating something to little kids, you'd want it to be more colorful. Whereas if you're communicating to someone who's senior, you'd want it to be more serious, depending upon the topic that you are presenting on. And of course, it's very, very useful for flexible cross-cultural communication. Sometimes text can be interpreted in different ways, but very rarely can communication that is done visually be misinterpreted. You must have noticed a rise in the number of infographics that are made these days. Nobody wants to read long, boring text anymore, and everyone's fighting to grab more attention of their audience than ever before, because in this fast-paced world full of information overload, everyone wants a piece of their audience attention for the longest time possible. They want to retain the attention for as long as they can. So now coming on to the third part of this video, which is how can we improve our visual communication skills. The first and foremost, have an open mind and seek inspiration all around you. For example, when I'm preparing content from my Instagram page, always observe what other people are doing on their pages, and I try to be more creative in my content, seeking inspiration from others. So one has to have an open mind, be observant and imaginative. It is all about good design, and that only comes when we look at what others are doing around us. And the second point is that your message and your creativity have to be conveyed intersecting each other. You can't go overboard with creativity but lose the importance of the message. Information should be expressed as clearly as possible. Reduce complexity to simplicity. And that leads on to the third point, which is don't overdo things. Overdoing things only leads to confusion. Make sure that your report or your slides have a flow and consistency throughout. Look at the difference between this slide, which has too much on it, versus this slide, which is simple and very, very pleasing to the eyes. And that leads on to the fourth point, which is that you have to make it a treat to your audience's eyes. Choose an appealing color palette. Make sure that the information is legible. Don't have text that is too small or too big. Don't have very bold colors. Stick to the theme. Also remember, in visual communication, you can use other types of media such as audio or video to make your message even more interesting to the audience. And the next point is very important, especially if you're making PowerPoint slides. Like I've already shown before, don't put too much text on the slide. Avoid these text-heavy slides. Less is more is what you have to remember. Use other things like graphs, photographs, diagrams to make it more visually appealing, to make it more interesting. If you have too much information you want to convey, make a list of the points that are important for you to come out of that meeting or that report or that presentation. And that information needs to be captured while all the other information is secondary. Remember, a little bit of blank space is good, and using too much animation is something I wouldn't recommend. That your report or your slides should flow from left to right and top to bottom, putting the most important information at the top of the slides or the top of the report, and then designing the hierarchy of the rest of the content accordingly. And my last point is, whenever you're presenting something, make sure to not read out from the text that is on the slides already. Keep the text to the minimum on the slides. Specifically important if you're presenting a report or a presentation to a group of people, keep the text to a minimum and communicate that text verbally. I think I need to make a separate video on how to make strong PowerPoint presentation slides. So let me know in the comments below if that's a video that you want to see from me. So that's it, my friends. This was part 4 of the communication series, all about visual communication. Don't forget to download the worksheet in the description box and watch out for my ebook coming up very shortly. I'll be back soon with another one. But until then, keep using my worksheet to practice strong communication skills on a daily basis. I hope to see you soon. Bye.